Hello. So this week we have actually reached a pivotal point. I mean, we're in the home stretch. We are at week 7. I hope you have found these books interesting. The one part that is kind of challenging is that social media moves so quickly that some of the examples in the text are dated a bit, but yet they still apply because if anything, it's actually gotten much worse. So I know you are reading Groundswell Attaining Maturity, Groundswell and Your Company, and also Alone Together Anxiety. And I'm choosing to discuss the Alone Together Anxiety part this week. And should you have any questions on the other reading, do feel free to reach out to me. So what I find interesting, this is actually just a piece of the text online, this because I use this one online. I have the hard copy of the other book, but this one I use online. But something that I found really kind of challenging is to realize the anxiety level that so much social media brings. And if anything, I mean, I just think this is going to continue, that we have to find ways to keep ourselves on social media diets or discipline where we only look at it at certain points. But the chapter begins by discussing how we feel safer with our phones because should there be an emergency, we certainly can reach out for help. If we needed to record something, we could. But then it also has a creepy aspect to it. And it's really kind of, when you read this and you think about the relationships behind social media and the complications. For me, when I think of my day of coming up, if you had a break up with a boyfriend or something, the way they could reach you is to call your home phone, and you certainly could screen that by having your parents pick it up. But now there's all the various social media sites that people can go to check in on what individuals are doing. And yes, you can block folks, but there are kind of ramifications and thoughts to that as well and ways to get around it. But I wanted to share this final paragraph of the chapter. In democracy, perhaps we all need to begin with the assumption that everyone has something to hide, a zone of private action and reflection, one that must be protected no matter what our techno enthusiasms. I am haunted by the 16-year-old boy who told me that when he needs to make a private call, he uses a payphone that takes coins and complains how hard it is to find one in Boston. And I'm haunted by the girl who summed up her reaction to losing online privacy by asking, "Who would care about me and my little life?" I learned to be a citizen at the Brooklyn mailboxes. To me, opening up a conversation about technology, privacy, and civil society is not romantically nostalgic, not Luddite in the least. It seems like part of democracy, defining its sacred space. So I just find it profound to think about the various implications of social media. I mean, there's no getting around it. It's here to stay, but we do need to consider the implications for ourselves and for others. I also took a screenshot of this section just as a reference so that you could take a look at it and think about an emergency in calling 911 and talking about the World Trade Center incident, which brought out a whole other piece of technology with folks calling home, just prior to the crashes and things, and the benefit and the risk of engaging in social media so frequently. Just something to think about in this course that really is talking about public relations, which is played out in the world of social media, the various platforms that come up. So you have a video here that's more for your kind of edification. It's the future of social media. Many conferences that I go to will have discussions about the future. And the interesting thing is when I think about having taught in 2008 or 9 when social media was really coming to life as far as Twitter coming on board and Facebook expanding, at that point, we had no idea it was going to evolve as it did. I mean, no one knew that Twitter would be such a political vehicle. And so it's no matter what we do to predict the future, we know the future will be far beyond our expectations, but it's good to think about it nonetheless. So you have a discussion board. This class, as I just, so you all know, I rebuilt it recently to make it more reflective and to have the reading allow time for you to think about that reading, the reading to take a larger role than so many assignments. So there have been fewer assignments, but I'm hoping you're enjoying that and you're able to reflect on the reading. You also have your reflective essay, and you're working on your critical assignment, which is due next week. And so let me quickly go to the week 8 folder just to offer any updates there. Just remember also, should you ever have a prayer request or a professional question about something in the field of PR, do feel free to reach out to me. And this section, the theme is the future for week 8. We're leading into that in week 7. And again, we'll have a discussion board on the reflective essay, and then the critical assignment, which we've been discussing, and several of you have reached out to me to discuss options for that and what you're thinking of doing. Now, when you turn this in, you will be submitting it through TaskStream, and the instructions are here. But I also ask you to put it in a discussion board because you're doing a 4-slide PowerPoint and VoiceThread to explain it. So that is that's actually going to wrap up the class for you. You have here's also an interview with the Groundswell authors. So this, I hope, has been a meaningful class to you as we come into the home stretch. The bigger amount of the work is now weeks 7 and 8 as you finish up that final project, and I will make every effort to be available to you and get back to you quickly should you have any questions about that as you're working on it. So I pray that you have a blessed week, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye.